Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And guys, I know it's been a couple of days since I did my last update. That's because I've been a little bit sick, and I thought it might be you know what, but luckily it was not, and we can continue on with our updates. Today, a pretty big day, but I've also been trying to update you guys over on Twitter like I always do. By the way, a little quick reminder, make sure you check out my Twitter, guys. Look at it. I post a lot of cool things on here. I try to update you with my insights, my thoughts, my everything. So check it out for even quicker updates. Starting it off, New York rolls out a digitized financial reporting for digital currency firms. Now, exactly what it is about here does not matter too much. What matters here is the fact that these individual places right now, in this case here, New York's financial service regulator, is launching its first ever tech sprint, an initiative that seeks to give the regulator instant access to data provided by firms under its supervision, right? What I'm thinking here is that these individual places, like for example now the New York department, are starting to update themselves on this digital financial realm. They're starting to piece by piece puzzle together, haha, pun intended, all the pieces that they'll need to work smoothly. And we'll talk about that more, I think, later today, because I think it's the next set of articles that I have open. But really, now, right now, more than ever, it is important and crucial for a lot of these places to start really either thinking of the possibility or implementing a new framework or new ways to handle digital things, like I guess digital, just any digital thing really. We just need a proper framework like Ripple has said before. And again, we'll get further into that a little bit later today. Look at this one right here, because it is really something rather important. Actually, to not leave you guys waiting, let's move on into it now for just a little bit. XRP was created on the 2nd of June 2012. 3,061 days later, US is still not given any regulatory clarity or framework, holding back new innovations in the US, e.g. Ripple. Institutions, investors, developers, they want regulation. We need regulation without restricting innovation, a level playing field, ASAP. So, as just kind of explained here, parties are starting to work on it. We know they are. The thing is, we just need more and more of them to start working on the global picture. I guess we can see it from the national picture first, but we need them all to start working on this more heavily so we'll get something arranged. And I mean, if we're talking CBDC, and we're talking about the bigger picture of US, China, and how that's all moving along, I'm going to say it could be faster, but they are progressing, right? They are. With this legal framework that Ripple needs, I mean, we've not heard any crucial news in quite a long time. We know from Trump's earlier statements that they find it necessary that there is. However, it's been so long and still there is nothing. You know, and I'm saying nothing quite bluntly here. That's because there's nothing crucial that they can work with. So as of this point, they're always dimming innovation, which is just quite crucial and quite bad. Looking at Decrypto, it says here, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell talks digital currencies at IMF. The chair of the Federal Reserve discussed digital currencies at the IMF, and here is what he said. U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell spoke at the IMF's annual meeting today. Powell discussed cross-border payments and digital currencies. His attendance signals recognition of the importance of digital currencies, says one Bitcoin analyst. I'm going to actually agree with this one right here. Like also said in the article, Facebook's Libra of February this year was a wake-up call for regulators and really for anybody. And especially for the US here, that they have to start working on something. They have to conclude things. This, together with our issue of a framework, they're the two most prominent digital crypto type of things going on right now, and they need to be fixed. Are they working on it? Yes. We're seeing updates in the sense of the Trump administration admitting that DOT is necessary, the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell recognizing our space and recognizing that it is necessary. I mean, we all know these things, right? Christine Lagarde, she has explained multiple times where this is the future. Cross-border payments, they've been really explained to be important, and they need to be quote-unquote free at one point in the future. Just the whole payments need to be free. And what does that fall under? Of course, Internet of Value, the thing that Ripple is building. I sometimes see comments under my tweets saying, yeah, this is not possible, or this will not work with Ripple, yada, yada, yada. Like right here. Dude, are you really serious about this? The government isn't going to pick one of our shit coins to use with the IMF. They may use Ripple, but not XRP. They may make their own crypto using Ripple Labs, but they will not use XRP. Have you guys been drunk thinking like that? So again, Mansa, no hate towards you, because I love these type of things so I can give my explanation a little bit further. All right, so no hate towards you, nothing like that. I don't. That's not what I'm seeking here. I'm just trying to clarify my position on these things. So I said, wait, is there even anybody that claims XRP could not work as a bridge asset between CBDCs? We know Ripple is willing to help out design these CBDCs, and I really have not heard any Bitcoin maxi counter arguments. That is because whenever we're talking about CBDCs being formed, there's always the talk of XRP could be a bridge, and there's nobody that counters that. Why? At least my assumption to why is because as of this point, there is not really that good of an alternative to think of. The only alternative that we can think of is, well, we're just going to use the US dollar CBDC, or at least the US CBDC, as a pair for all of these ones, right? But then we're still going to need this reserve system if there's no mutual trust. Otherwise, it still would not work. The way that XRP would work and why this comment, in my opinion, is wrong is because we're assuming that it's one entity not allowing these things. What we're forgetting is that there's no one entity controlling this world, all right? Again, we can kind of debate about that, but at least to our eyes, there is no one entity, and in this case here, I'm talking about a couple of people, that can decide this, that are of one country. No, if there is a group deciding, it would be a group of multiple countries, and they would all have to decide. However, one clear point there again is that this will never include all countries. There is no group in this world that includes all countries that talk together about things. That doesn't really happen. Some of the biggest conferences like G20, again, have 20 people. You have G30, you have G10, G6, maybe whatever, the plane. Yeah, you have a lot of different groups, but really, none of them represent all countries. Maybe the easiest way is like a group representative, where it's like a representative of maybe the whole region, but that's the closest you're gonna get. So there's not gonna be one government that can say, no, we don't want this. The only thing they can do is be like, well, we as a country do not accept this thing, right? And that's things you're gonna see from China, things you're gonna see from Russia, things you're gonna see from the US, Brazil, South Africa, a couple of the bigger ones, India, that sometimes do not want to follow your guidelines because they're big enough of an entity on their own. Now, what you would see is if it was a US-made currency, and again, I'm not talking about XRP right now, which is a decentralized digital asset which could have been anywhere around the world. It was created in the US by US people, but that does not matter too much for the bigger picture of it. We've kind of explained how China might not like it, but all right, next to that, as of this point, it is a decentralized asset. If it were not to be, then, let's assume it was US-based. China would definitely not accept it. Why? Why would they want it? Why would they want to associate themselves with that? Why would they not use a China one? And they're going to be like, why wouldn't the world not use a China-based currency? Same way the US is trying to push a US-based currency. No, things like that won't work. And if a government helps out to build this bridge asset like XRP, again, things will kind of crumble again. That's why if it were a government-based currency or built currency, it would not work properly. It couldn't, because other parties would not accept it. That's why I am saying that XRP could be a nice bridge asset. And again, we're talking about CBDCs that are from one country and another. They will still have to be transacted under link. It depends kind of on what you see as the main priority of what a CBDC would do, but there's still some rather strange thoughts about that because it's not necessarily clear exactly how CBDCs will be rolled out yet and what purpose they will get for every individual country. As of this point, the ECB, so Europe, has explained quite well what they want these CBDCs to do, but again, every report that I've read kind of differs in their exact purpose. May it be main or side purposes, they are sort of different. And that's ultimately also going to decide how useful a bridge will be and how interoperable the whole system will be, right? But again, those things we'll learn as time moves on here. Let's see here what he says. That's how it invests in Ripple. Yeah, okay, so no counter argument to that. If you guys have a counter to this one, just let me know in the comment section or over on Twitter. And by the way, if you are enjoying these videos, make sure you press the like button. Moving further, report ranks crypto next to gold in popularity with Russian investors. This article I purely have here to show you guys that the tides are changing. The more we move forward, the more people will see crypto as a viable investment, and the more they will see it as either a traditional stock or as I guess an asset or commodity like gold. As time flows on, the more and more that people will see it. Now, Russia, of all places, is really ahead in this game by seeing it as it is, of really being quite close to gold, or at least to these metals, right? And piece by piece, the rest of the world will admit this too. Piece by piece, the rest of the world will see it this way. And really, from that point on forward, I think you're going to need yourself such a framework. There's no way around it anymore. It will kind of be there already because people see it as the new normal. And you might be saying, Dusty, what you're saying is dumb. All right, you're talking about these digital currencies that they invest in, and you're talking about a framework for what? What type of framework are you talking about? Guys, listen to me right here. This framework has multiple purposes, and this digital asset that they're investing in has bigger roots than might meet the eye. So if you're talking a crypto and investing in crypto, you're talking about a couple of terms right all at once. You're talking about the cryptocurrency itself, sometimes explained as a crypto commodity already, but the cryptocurrency itself. You're talking about that thing being based upon a blockchain or working with one. So you're talking DLT, which again, these things might be in one another, but it's talking about these terms all in all. You're talking about nodes, you're talking about cross-border transactions always, you're talking about interoperability between systems. You might be talking about mining even, again, because depending on what type of algorithm it has. You can really go on with that list for a little while. The thing is that these are not just one-stop shops. These cryptos are not just one thing. They're built upon something rather interesting, rather difficult. And that's also why a framework can't just be for one simple thing. There needs to be a clear framework for kind of all of these, right? In one another, either, or just kind of being based upon the next one. So like if there's just a framework for the bottom line, or there's a framework for DLT, a perfect one, well, I guess we're kind of far already and everything. If there's just a framework for cryptocurrency, we can kind of relate how that would relate to other things and so forth and so on. If there's just one for these quote unquote fintech type of things, we'll get a couple of steps further. But in the end, it will need to get them all. Circumvent, is that it? If you have like a ball, are you gonna put a cloth over the whole ball? In golf, I think maybe that's it. If you have a car and you put a blanket over the whole thing, cover, but then cover whole. It needs to cover it whole. You guys know what I mean. All right, I think we covered those ones. Oh yeah, then something rather interesting again. Mt. Gox's deadline for rehabilitation plan extended once more. This is talking about a ton of dollars in Bitcoin that are coming back in. All right, that's what it's basically talking about here. They've been delaying it. There's multiple situations going on surrounding that. The thing I wanted you guys to know is that whatever this says, it is not going to influence the Bitcoin, really, and I guess any crypto price, all right, whatever is set. So don't worry too much about that one. You can kind of ignore it as it's not going to do too much. And why am I saying that? Because we've seen it happen before, all right, and nothing really happens. Then, Joa Katz. So XRP Darren, Patrick, and David Swartz and EBK are in this conversation. Darren says, Joel, the G20 has published a cross-border roadmap. A global stablecoin is coming. Is there room for a global stable CBDC and XRP? There's little details about GSC, which is, I'm assuming, global stablecoin. What are your thoughts about it? Right? And this, funny enough, kind of lines up with the question I asked you guys earlier about, do you have a counter argument? And by the way, if you're enjoying this far, make sure you help out the channel by pressing that like button. I appreciate it a ton. Patrick says, well, my thoughts were that when Sobnendu Mohanty said that CBDCs needed a link between them in the form of a blockchain, I got quite excited. He said they were working on a DLT from the private sector using the Byzantine agreement. I got even more excited. Darren said, I was excited when I heard that as well. I'm looking forward to David's response. David said, I don't think there's going to be one world fiat anytime soon. So even with stablecoins, there will be a lot of them. To make liquidity between CBDCs, other stablecoins, and new tokenized asset classes like securities and DeFi, there is room for a neutral, jurisdictionless asset. Exactly the opinion I've expressed to you guys as well here. Let me quickly like that. EB says, you say asset, so is that XRP or XLM? I think, this is again David, I think lots of digital and fiat assets will compete to play that role, and there is room for more than one. I see the dollar's role as the world's settlement currency slowly shrinking and international commerce increasing. So we'll be fighting for a share of a bigger market, and potentially almost every asset could be a winner here, even the dollar. A smaller share of a significant bigger market can be a win overall. Pretty fair if you ask me. Richard then said, thank you for answering all these questions, David. You don't have to, but thank you, and yet you do. Fortunately, I'm virtually pain-free and able to sit at my desk for an hour or so today. Then I need a break to elevate my ankle, though. I'm officially back to work tomorrow, but will probably take many meetings from my bed. That kind of made me wonder exactly how these days for these Ripple workers look like as well. You know, what are they primarily focused on, especially the CTO here, having the knowledge that he has. Like, what is his main priority at Ripple? What does he do today, if you get me? You know, what is he going to do tomorrow? What is he going to work on? As a CTO, I know you have a lot of responsibility, but what exactly? Since here, if you look at his bio, improving global settlements with blockchain tech. I mean, yeah, they're working on that. CTO Ripple. How do you say this one in English? I don't even know that either. Comment that down below what this is in English. Semicolon, I think. Or is the other one semicolon? No, it's just maybe colon. Guys, if I'm just writing something, I'll be able to perfectly pronounce what it says. But once you're recording and trying to think of these things, it becomes rather difficult. One of the original architects of the XRP network, and also one of the first guys to kind of invent this cryptography that we're talking about today. But to kind of get back to the point, like, is he still working every day to help out XRP as well as a CTO at Ripple? Since if you're a technology officer, a good part also talks about XRP, since it's at least 1/5 of your whole technology. And in terms of money, it's even a greater part. Does he still work on XRP too? Or is he mostly, working on really the Ripple-y side of things, where it's like, ODL, okay, that's interesting, but it's just a fifth. So he's working on, what parts of that, or what? Or because he's CTO, he doesn't work on anything anymore. He just gets what these under managers and stuff let others do, and he gets the report back and explains what they need to work on next. Like maybe he doesn't really involve himself with any of the lower parts anymore. I just don't know. Because Ripple is a rather strange company in that sense. They have so many employees, yet it kind of looks, superficially like they don't have that many different solutions. But they have so many employees. They work on so much different stuff. And I'm kind of wondering if David actually involves himself with XRP anymore, or if he's just, letting that go to others. This kind of question especially came up to mind when I noticed the XRP Ledger Foundation became the main thing behind XRP. At first, it used to be, okay, Ripple has a ton of this XRP, and a ton of that XRP, again, is used for XRP ecosystem. And thus, it would, in my opinion, not be crazy at all if really some of these higher members at Ripple, their main priority was XRP, since it's really most of what Ripple is based upon. However, as time flows and they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more solutions and more partnerships, I know the CTO would, of course, get more tasks as well. And I'm kind of wondering exactly where that leaves him. But if you guys know anything about that, let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, I'm just going to be exploring as we move on as well. Another part about these CBDCs that I might briefly touch upon is that, again, countries are working on this. Countries are not sitting still, and they are all getting to a conclusion piece by piece, all right? The playing field is being leveled as we speak, but it's not in the way we wanted it just quite yet. Right now, it's in the fact that they're all working on something, and thus, I mean, any country you go to has the same type of rules for CBDC, that is. But in terms of the rest that Ripple kind of needs, they're just not there yet. But they will get eventually, and I'm pretty excited to see. Guys, that was it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I think there's 2 more coming, all right? I've been not uploading for like 3.5, maybe 4 days, and thus we got some catching up to do. A lot of different subjects, a lot of cool stuff coming up. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed it. Like if you did as well. And yeah, check out the links in the description below. Take care, guys, and have a very nice day.